in this 12 days crash course, I will be briefly giving you knowledge about all the topics that is there in your syllabus. I'm not going to leave anything. So what is required from you? Practice. Okay, because genuine I cannot give, like percentage, for example. 5 to 6 classes are required to be taken. Where I'll try to complete it within one session. So I'll try to touch everything, all the angles that are going to come in UGC NET. I will touch. I'm not trying, I'll touch. Don't worry about that. So let's start with the teaching aptitude lesson 2. Lesson 2 deals with your learner characteristics, and what we would study, we would be studying about the characteristic features of adolescent and adult learners. Normally, the age group of our students depends from the higher education student. It starts from around, let's say, 15 to 16, the plus 2 college level, till PhD, adult learners. You are not getting the old and you are not getting the infant kids to teach. So we as teachers, we are going to be faculties in either the colleges or any universities. So our target group would be adolescents and adult learners. So what are the characteristics that we are going to look for about in them? We would be dealing with their academic, social, emotional, and cognitive characteristics. And we will learn something about individual differences. What exactly individual differences are all about. Okay. So my question is, teaching and learning same or different?
Different.
Same. Teaching can take place without learning, or learning can take place without teaching?
Both are interlinked.
Yes, both are interlinked, but in certain cases, both are interlinked. We cannot. Teaching is unimaginable without any context of learning. We cannot imagine also. Just teaching, gone. Okay. So on the basis, before proceeding further, let us discuss certain characteristics of good learners. Okay, we are talking about learners now. Let me share the screen, white screen, so that we can, sorry, it's white. Okay. Quickly, let's discuss about characteristics of learners. Now, learning means what? Learning means what? Relatively permanent. Yeah. Change in behavior has to be done, right? If there is no relatively permanent change in behavior, it's not successful. The learning is not successful. There has to be a change in the behavior. Okay, first characteristic can be, good learners are persistent. Now, what does persistent mean? Continuous, gradual. Okay, I'm getting certain answers in the chat box also. Good learners should know how to make use of the knowledge, right? They should know. It's not just the fact that you just went, you understood something and over. No, you should know the process, how to use that knowledge. Yes, it should be continuous in nature, Chandan. It's correct. Next, acquiring knowledge. Bhavna, you have given, that's correct. Share their knowledge. Third point can be. You people can also give your characteristics. These are my points. Enthusiastic in nature. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, share your knowledge. Fourth characteristic of learner can be, they need to be free from negative reactions. Any negative reactions, it should not affect them. Yes, receptive power has to be much stronger in comparison. Receptive power has to be more, correct? Given by, again, Bhavna. Arun, punctual, yeah. Curious to learn, yeah, okay. Curious to learn, absolutely correct. Adjustment ability, yes, adjustment to different situations. I can take that point. So 7th point can be adjustment ability, goal oriented. So you people know because all of us are teachers, right? 9 can be very, very important. Listener, if you're not a good listener, then you cannot be a good learner. Okay, so many more things that you have written already. Applications. Let's go for 10th point. Dedicated, motivated, etc. So these are the characteristics of learners. Among taking these characteristics of learners, we would be dealing about the learner characteristics in the context of their academics, in the context of their social, in the context of their emotional and cognitive aspects, factors. So what exactly are all these? Learner characteristics are of many types, like personal, academic, as I repeated. What is coming under your personal characteristics? All your demographic factors, all your demographic informations. We normally go for projects and dissertations, right? So we distribute a questionnaire and we try to jot the demographical information. So what exactly comes under your demographic information? Your age, gender, cultural background, maturation, language, social economic status, specific needs of a learner group. All these are coming under your personal characteristics. Okay, with which age group are you dealing with? What is the gender of your students? What is the cultural background? What language do they understand? All these are very important. What is coming under their academic characteristics? Education type, education level, and prior knowledge. Education type, you can say which medium, English medium or Hindi or Kannada or any other medium, depends. Their level, what is the level of education that they have? Knowledge, obviously. Cognitive means mind. Okay, this cognitive means mind. Cognitive, under cognitive, how fast you can remember the facts. Like me, as a person, I cannot remember. I'm very poor in memory. Okay, but that is one of the characteristic of mine. How much mental pressure can I take? What is my, you can say, how much I can, how much I can be able to deal with solving problems? What is my intellectual skill? How much would I be able to remember, organize, and store information in my brain? All these are coming under your cognitive characteristics. And your emotional, obviously, it is related to, it has a connection with your society, social aspect. Your nature, your family, your friends, everything deals with your emotion also. So learning, as I said, it means a permanent change in your behavior. If there is no change, then we will say that no learning has taken place. There has to be certain change in your behavior. Okay, that is the result of learning. Only then we will say learning process has been fulfilled successfully. So what are the learner characteristics? We discussed all. Okay, fine. Let's come to the adolescent learners. Okay, before jumping into adolescent learners, let's discuss what exactly, or whom do you call adolescents, and whom do you call, like what is the age group of an adolescent and what is the age group of an adult? Any idea? We know about the life cycle. We have studied somewhere about the life cycle. So what is the age group that normally comes in your adolescence? Yes, a big teenager. That's good. They come under your adolescence. So it extends till what age? Till 20? Not even 20. We are actually taking adolescence till 25. From 25 onwards, your teenager from 12, no, from 13 to 25 can be your adolescence group, and 25 and above, we can go for your adult, because these are the broad two categories of students we normally get. At the time of completion of your PG, you would be around, let's say 23 or 24 age. Okay, so that is the reason why I had added adolescence, early adulthood and adulthood under one category. And under the next category, I have added adulthood, midlife and mature adulthood till 60. Okay, so 2 categories I have done for students, adolescence and your adulthood. Fine, let's discuss about the features of adulthood. Adolescence. Out of all the stages of life, this one focus more upon or most upon exploration of different facts. Now see the age group of teen. If you have anyone in your surrounding who is a teenager, you can very well understand what am I trying to say right now. Yeah, 13 to 19 are teenage. Yes. So they basically go for exploration of their own ways. They don't listen to anyone. Okay, they go for endeavor. They go for self-discovery. The education of the adolescence still continues. The education is not completed. It is a more focused approach to acquiring knowledge in various different disciplines. Once the adolescence age is over, it starts the beginning of adulthood. It is obviously the longest phase in the human life cycle. Yeah. Body transformation also takes place. Hormonal, body, mind, all such of transformation takes place at this stage. The young adult has reached a point of great independence. Yeah, at the or you can say early adulthood and at the peak of adulthood, they are at a point of great independence. Okay, they do not try to come under any of the categories. Okay. So the young adolescent is going through a period of significant physical, emotional, intellectual, moral and social changes. All sorts of changes takes place during this category. So first we will be dealing with their academic characteristics. What are the academic characteristics of an adolescence? Very, very important. Okay. First is academic characteristics of learners. It includes the education type, education level and knowledge, which we discussed. Okay, I showed you that what is coming under your academic characteristics, what is coming under your cognitive characteristics. So we need to know that. In young adolescents, intellectual development is not so much. They are not developed in their mind. Okay, but physical development is visible. Intellectual development is not visible. During early adolescence, like the early teenage groups, they exhibit a wide range of individual intellectual development. They tend to be curious. They seem to be curious and they show various interests or wide-ranging interests in different fields. These people, we are talking about the age group of 13 to 25 or as per your words, let's say 20. These people or the young adolescents, the 13 age group, they are very eager to learn about different topics. They find interesting and useful. Once they get their interesting topic, they stick to that. They are personally enjoying, they personally want to understand. They also favor active over passive listening. They do not like passive listening. They like active listening. And they will definitely prefer interactions with peers. What is our stage? We now do not like to interact much with our peers, but they definitely will like to interact with their peers. It is a creative challenge. What is the challenge of a teacher? Why we are studying academic characteristics? It's a creative challenge of a teacher to continually discover or pre-assess for any meaningful connections that we are talking with the students, related to the subject matters, related to the topics, related to the experiences that we bring to the classroom. It's in fact, you can say it is the most important challenge or creative challenge for the teacher. We need to discover, we need to pre-assess the mental ability or the mindset of my students in case of adolescents, because they are now seeing new things. Okay, next is social. Adolescent social development is often described as the process of establishing a sense of identity. During this stage, what happens, although they don't have any identity of their own, but they seem that they need to get certain position in the house. You can very well see if there is a teenager if you don't give them attention, they will get angry, they will get annoyed very quickly, because they seek means they obviously look out for that someone should give them the sense of identity. They look out for identity. Body image plays a very important role. It's a key factor, in fact, you can say, in developing a sense of self and identity, especially for girls and the family, and increasingly peers, means friends and your nears and dear ones. They also play an important role in assisting and supporting the adolescents to achieve the adult roles. Risk taking, they are risk takers, risk lovers. It's a natural part. They unknowingly do that. They seek social acceptance. If they are not accepted socially, they get demotivated, okay, or among their friends, and they stick to group norms. They create groups here. They tend to diminish family alliances. Like any family relations, they try to deviate and they try to go for their near and dear ones. Okay, they try to create their own identities. So the influence in this particular age group, the influence of media and the culture, they play a major role. Students should be taught how to deal with social pressure resulting from different competitions. Normally suicides and everything happens at this stage. They take it as the biggest failure in their life, but they need to understand, no, this is not. Diminished family means they try to deviate from the family traditions. They don't support much. It's the nature of the teenager group, okay? That is not their problem. Healthy attitudes should be developed among your students at this age, if you have at all students in the adolescence group. And students should be encouraged to strive for more self-improvement. More and more self-improvement has to be done in case of social. When we talk about emotional, what comes? The way a person thinks and feels about themselves and others. It's is a key concern in case of emotional development. What happened? Mood swings takes place. They become rebellious towards adults. They normally do not listen to what the adults are trying to say. Normally they become rebellious. They don't pay attention. They are very sensitive to criticism. If someone criticizes them, they feel offended. Developing and demonstrating individual emotional assets such as resilience. They stop themselves, refrain themselves. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is divided into two parts. One is esteem, one is ego. Ego means how the front person looks towards you, and esteem means how you look towards yourself, how you judge towards yourself. So these things comes very much during the emotional stage. Coping skills, adjusting skills, these are all at the peak in the adolescence group. Schools are very important sites for social and emotional learning, and they have developed various policies and programs around student wellness, and obviously it is based on strength based approach. So what basically is happening, the body changes, hormonal changes, mind changes. They go from school to college to university, so the environment changes. So naturally these things are going to happen, and the challenge of the teacher is they need to understand the context of the students and then accordingly deal with them. What is cognitive? Cognitive, as I said, mind, memory. Okay, we had already discussed what is coming under the cognitive characteristics. So when we are talking about an adolescence group, what it is happening? Cognition is the process which involves thought, rational and perception. During this time, in case of adolescence, what is that? There is an opportunity for learning and cognitive growth, because brain tries to adapt more and more in case of adolescent students, not in case of adults. Teachers need to provide an assortment, a variety of educational approaches, not just one, because we do not know which student grabs what, and materials that are appropriate for their students' wide-ranging cognitive abilities. For example, when we talk about the concrete thinkers, they required more structured learning experiences, while those people who are the abstract thinkers, they need more challenging activities. Now it is the challenge of the teacher. Now see, in a particular class, there are certain concrete thinkers and there are certain abstract thinkers. What the teacher will do? there comes teaching is an art. He or she will go for creative or innovative ways how to deal with their students. In addition, the young adolescents, the young group, young students need teachers who understand and know how they think. The teachers need to plan way advance around real life concepts. They need to give real life examples so that students can understand it in their environment only. The teacher should go for a variety of process like experimentation, analysis, synthesis of data, very, very important for young adolescents. So what happens? Because the interests of these young teenager groups are very evolving in nature, they naturally require opportunities for exploring throughout their exploration of their interests, their skills through different educational programs that are to be conducted by the teacher from time to time. So these are the different academic, social or emotional and cognitive characteristics related to an adolescence learner. Next, we'll talk about adulthood or midlife or mature adulthood. Now, why mature adulthood? You would be surprising. I had been to Jhansi Rai University, Bihar for a panel discussion. I was surprised that the age of the student is 80 plus and he had come to do PhD in Sanskrit. So obviously it's a case of mature adulthood, or you can say, right? Although we cannot say it to be old age, we can say it to be a mature adulthood. So what are the characteristics? How you are going to deal with those students? Now we need to understand the age group. They tend to be, they are susceptible to criticism. You cannot criticize them on their face. They will take it in a negative sense. So again, here the challenge of the teachers come. So that is the reason why we need to understand the different characteristics of adulthood also. Okay, before discussing about adulthood, any doubts related to the characteristics of adolescence? Any doubts? Please let me know so that we can proceed for adulthood. No doubts, or no one is responding, or all slept? Please, I need to understand. Mahesh, did you understand? Mahesh Babu?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what about others? Boring? This is a boring part, right? But we need to complete, right? It's very important. Questions comes. Okay, good. Now I think the modern, like this is a good morning again for the class. Okay, adulthood. Let's jump into adulthood case. This stage is initiated. And when the responsibilities of the individual start to increase, now just think about the age group of 25. You have completed your PG, you got a job, you are under the pressure of getting married and settle down, you have a business to start, you have lots and lots of responsibilities. So basically you can say the responsibilities of the individual starts to increase during this adulthood. What we are all into this group, okay, we are all in this cadre. Now you need to keep yourselves as a teacher, and you need to understand myself or me as a teacher. So I am trying to understand your characteristics. Let's try to understand from this angle. You were once an independent person, but now you are now stuck up with different challenges from various aspects of life, like financial pressures, your professional issues, okay, or family issues. There are various responsibilities. We are now no more independent. The individual would like to find a home and a partner to settle down, but the time to settle down starts to approach. We are now in a position to settle. Our future or our focus is what will be my retirement plan. So that is what is in our mind now. Wishes of independence, exploration, and freedom are now replaced by the wish to start a family. All of you, please take your context. Now, no more we want independence. Now, no more we are looking for exploration of new facts. We don't have time. Although we have time, we have lost that interest. We are bound, we are stuffed up with so many responsibilities that we have forgotten what is the taste of freedom. how we were exploring different facts that we have almost seemed to forgot. It marks a stage during which we pick up a great number of responsibilities, not just for ourselves, but also for others. Now we are not one. We are looking we are taking care of our parents, our families, our kids. Okay. So lots and lots of responsibility comes, not just for yourself. You are also now going to do work for others also. Now, what are the academic characteristics of an adult learner? Now we know, okay, we don't have the interest of independence. We have lost freedom. We have lost exploration. So in this context, how the teacher is going to deal? What are the different academic characteristics of an adult? Adult learners, no doubt, they have a vast wealth of knowledge, very vast, okay, again acquired, that is acquired by controlling their environment and experiences of life. Now, experience of life has also added to them. Their opinions, values, and beliefs are their defining characteristics. This is what the adults are being defined as. The teachers or facilitators, in order not to hurt the self-image of adult learners, have to treat them with utmost respect and equality. The teachers here, जैसे कि मैं आपको तुम या तू बुला के नहीं बोल सकती हूँ, जैसे हम बच्चों को बोल देते हैं कभी-कभी. I cannot do that because now you have a vast wealth of knowledge. You have tasted the experience of life. It will hurt your self-image. So we need to treat you with utmost respect. Once I start giving you respect, automatically that same respect will generate from your side. This is a takeaway process. Any learning process which is constructed for the adult learners has to be geared to meet the needs of adult learners. Very, very important. If you are teaching an adult, stick to the point. Okay, it should be geared. We are trying to put a gear. We are not going to start. It has already started. Adults are result oriented. They need application oriented. Whatever is needed, just give that much. Don't go out of the box. Don't go random. Don't give random examples. That is of no use to them. They get bored. They have specific expectations for what they will get out of learning activities, and obviously they will often drop out of voluntary learning if their expectations are not met. If students will voluntarily leave your class, I'm talking about the adult learners, okay, the age group of 25 or more. If they voluntarily leave your class, this means that somewhere the teacher is not capable to teach them. Many adults prefer to learn by doing rather than listening to lectures. Okay, they don't normally prefer to listen to the lectures that has been given. They try to learn by themselves. Next is social. Okay. Many self-directed adult learners prefer a learning community with whom they can interact and discuss questions and issues. See guys, what we can do, we can go for creation of a group, okay, a learning community where all of you can interact and discuss questions and different issues we can generate related to UGC. That is a characteristic of an adult learner, not that of an adolescent. Because many adult learners have numerous responsibilities and commitments to family, friends, community, and work. You are not just one, you are looking for others also. Carving out time for learning affects adult learners. To find out time for yourself to learn something, it is genuinely going to affect you. Now for this 12 days, I can understand, being a faculty with a university, I can very well understand how much time you have taken out, how much adjustments you have done. Okay, I can very well understand that, and I respect for that. So that is the major, you can say, one very important point which the teachers need to understand. They want to be treated with respect. If you are not going to treat the adult learners with respect, the teaching learning process will never be successful in case of adult learners. Adult learners increasingly develop the ability to work independently and cooperatively with others. They love to work independently, but again, simultaneously, they love to work cooperatively with others, okay, in different situations, circumstances. So these are the characteristics of social characteristics of an adult learner. What is the emotional characteristic? Or why should we understand the emotional aspect of an adult learner? Why? They prefer a sense of control and self-direction. They are now independent. They have now the right to take their own decisions. Okay, they are self-directed. They know what is good for them, what is bad for them. They like options and choice in their learning environment. If there is options and choice, obviously they'll prefer that. Even adults who feel anxiety from self-direction may learn to appreciate this approach if given proper initial support. If a particular adult who is feeling anxiety, anxious from self-direction, if the particular adult is given a proper initial support, he or she will obviously definitely please or support the approach. Depending upon their age and physical conditions, adult learners may acquire skills more slowly than younger students. Obviously, nowadays during this COVID-19, what happened when we shifted to this online mode? I was used to online mode, but I saw my dad how much difficulty he had. He is also a professor. Okay, he is a statistician by nature. Now, when he shifted to this online mode, the difficulty he was facing reading the images on the computer screen, using this portals, reading small fonts, teaching to students, it's very difficult, but they have to. The emotional context, seeing like what I can understand the feeling that is running. My daughter is easily grabbing all these things. Why can't I? It is being a challenge for them, but it is not. It is their age. It is the physical condition that is actually compelling them. Okay, they don't have any problem. So it depends. Adult learners may acquire skills more slowly, the way the young students do. Through experience, adults may fear a subject. In 10th, during our at the time when we were giving our 10th examinations, did we had a choice to fear a subject? Although we had a choice to fear, but we had to overcome it. We had no scope to leave it, to avoid it and run away. Like maths, geometry was a major fear for me, but I can't run away because I have to pass the examination with first class. Okay, so but in case of adults, they fear a subject. They get anxiety about a subject, or they feel anger if any force changes are done in their job responsibilities or policies. This is the nature, emotional nature of the adult learners. They don't have any problem. Like it is their nature, by default it comes. These emotions can interfere with the learning process. See, in a particular, suppose I am teaching you for the next 12 days, right? Now something happens in your job environment. So that will definitely affect the positive gear that you have before signing up for this course. Adults like to gain competence in workplace skills as it boosts confidence and improves self-esteem. As I said, esteem and ego, both. So people, the adult learners, they like to gain competence. Okay, they like to grab something, so that definitely confidence as well as a self-esteem will go up. Next, we will be discussing about the cognitive aspect. Now see, this is the biggest challenge. This challenge the teachers must need to understand, the cognitive aspect. There are multiple challenges for adult learners because they are now bound by different responsibilities, family, financial pressures, your health aspects, various responsibilities are there. So more time is needed to actively process new information. You cannot just give small amount of information and go away. They need certain more time. Processing speed is obviously little slow, okay? Because processing speed, how we are defining it, it is defined as the time a person takes to do a mental task. In comparison to young adolescents, adult learners' processing speed is a bit less. It is related to the speed in which a person can understand and react to the situation they receive. Okay, this declines with age and lots of cognitive processes are affected due to this. Okay, as I said, processing speed declines with age. Even I am also getting tired. Why? Because my age is going up, right? So the more the age, the less the processing speed will be. That doesn't mean we are outdated. We are not outdated. Given given the sufficient environment, we are also able to reach or give good results. Therefore, older people need more teaching time because their difficulty is with the learning the information adequately for recall. The difficulty is with recall. Once they have learned the information well enough, their recall is not impaired. Once they learned the information properly enough, then never ever they are going to forget that. So it may take longer to teach adults compared to younger people. So thus they should be given longer teaching time. But recalling power is more in case of adult learners. Any doubt in the characteristics of adult learners? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Everything is clear.
Yeah, Mahesh? Oh, everything is clear. Okay. So let's move to the next part, that is individual differences. Give me just 1 second break. We are talking about the next topic, that is individual differences. We should know this because no two people are alike. There are 77 people now in the group. I will definitely say no, we will never get a pair of at least two pair. We are talking about pair, two persons who are alike in nature in all aspects. So dissimilarity is the principle of nature. All individuals differ from each other in many other aspects or in many aspects. In fact, the twins who are born from the same parents at the same time, somewhere they are different, either in their characteristic or feature or complexion, height, weight, anything. Some difference would be there. So, in case of children, what change we can see? We can see the change in their physical forms like height, weight, color, complexion, strength, difference in intelligence. So, all these are aspects where there are differences when we are talking about children born from the same parents. Even intellectual capacity, when we are talking about mind, it again depends upon the experience and the learning platforms the person has got. So that is why individual differences are there. Now, what are the causes of individual differences? As I said, heredity. Okay. Suppose my mom. Okay. Mom had 4 sisters. Sorry, has 4 sisters. Okay. Now they are married to different people. Kids born out of them. Their characteristic won't be matching with my characteristic, or you can say my cousin's characteristic won't be matching with my characteristic. Why? Because heredity works. Okay, some heretical traits or features or characteristics bring a change from one individual to other, right? So you can say an individual's height, size, shape and color of hair, shape of face, nose, hands, legs, in fact you can say the entire structure is determined by the different heretical qualities. Intellectual differences thereby are, or you can say heredity is the first factor which is creating intellectual differences. Clear about the first factor? Can we proceed to the next factor? Okay. Just some people, 2 new people are waiting.
Sure, ma'am. Let's go.
Okay. Next is environment. Now, how environment plays a major role? Any idea how environment? Environment brings individual differences in behavior, activities, attitude, style of life characteristics. Suppose some people are from East India, some are from West India, okay, some are from North India, some from South India. Don't you think the characteristic will be different, although we all belong to one entire country? Don't you think the characteristic will be different? Why? Because our environment matters. Okay, and what is coming under your environment or environment? What is coming? The different types of people, the society that we are from, the culture, the customs, traditions, social heritage, ideas, or the idols. Everything is coming under your environment. Okay, clear? Next, race and nationality. Race means this car race, fast track race. No, it is not that. Race means the breed, from which race we are from. This Dravidian race, Aryan race, that is actually we are talking about race. Yes, our thinking, Puneet, yes, correctly. Our thinking and productivity also depends upon our environment. So race and nationality again is one of the cause of individual differences. For example, like I said, it's a normal quote. It is not my quote. Okay, let me quote it. Indians are very peace loving or spiritual, they say, right? Chinese are cruel. Americans are very frank due to race and nationality. This is an example that is given. Okay. Next, gender. Obviously, due to gender variation, one individual differs from other. Men, normally what we consider, men are strong in mental power, whereas women are strong in taking all the social responsibilities and have a better control over their emotions. When we talk about the emotional aspect, women are more, our women outstand the men. But in case of mental power, the men outstands the woman. Okay. On the other hand, women on the average show small superiority over men in memory, language, and aesthetic sense. This we normally these are the studies of different. These are the research findings of different studies that has been conducted over time. Age is another factor which leads to individual differences. Why? Because our learning ability and adjustment capacity naturally grows with age. When we grow in age, what happens? We take better control over our emotions, right? When a child grows, then maturity and development goes side by side. Next is education. See, we people are now aspiring for UGC NET. And in the same place, the management will bring a graduate person. Don't you think the think tank will be different? The behavior will be different? The intellectual capacity will be different? Obviously it is different, because education is the one which is going to bring the gap. There is a wide gap in the behaviors of educated and uneducated persons. Okay, all traits of human beings like social, emotional, and intellectual are controlled and modified through proper education only. This education brings a change in our attitude, behavior, appreciation, personality. Okay, what happens? It's normally seen an uneducated person is guided by their instinct, what comes in their mind. They are just guided by that, and emotions. Whereas the educated persons, they are guided by their reasoning power. They look for different aspects and then they take a decision. Any questions? Any questions, guys?
It's all clear, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.